Hiya, welcome to episode 20 of the MMA Wales podcast. I'm Ricky Wright, joined always with James Wallace, and we got some great guests for you today. We have Stephen Giffard, who's one of the coaches at Celtic Pride Gym.
Top coach, main coach.
And of course, one of the hottest prospects in Welsh MMA right now, the Dragon, Mason Jones. I didn't forget it, and I was trying to think of your nickname.
I'm going to forget the Dragon in Wales.
There's one right in front of me. Anyway, so thanks for coming on the show, guys. It's great. So we'll start with you, Mason. Your last performance on Cage Warriors. What a fight!
Banger, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they're the type of fights that you watch when you're a kid and you want to be in when you're older and to
until you're in there.
Until you're in there. But it's like, we got James Lilly who comes on the show and he's always talking about he wants this war.
Yeah.
And he's never really, he's either beaten someone or some, but that was the war that he's always wanted,
Yeah.
What was it like to be in that fight?
Well, to be honest, I think it looked better on TV than it was in there. Like, I think that's one of the fights after it I've come out with the least amount of markings on my face. I didn't have the sweat on my feet, no bruising. It was just a bit of a black eye.
I'm here.
So silly hours, as she wants. Carry on.
Yeah, so I had the least amount of markings. I had a bit of a black eye. Apart from that, I was quite good. Like, I've said this before. When we did the weigh-ins, we did the face-to-face, and he's probably one of the first people since I've gone around me I've done a face-to-face with, and I just thought we're crazy. Like, we did face-to-face, and he wanted it. Like, so
yeah.
As soon as I went back after it, I said he's coming for it tomorrow. I said it's gonna be over in one. Like, and fair play. We got in there. He said a rapid pace. Like, his bounce was weird. His rhythm was all over the place.
It was like a Kikashenko karate, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you done spar with people like that,
it was just weird. Like, my timings, like, I think it took him about 2.5 minutes before he started slowing down, and I started landing my jab in. And but apart from that, he caught me with a few. Like, nothing big. Like, he caught body kick, which hurt. Apart from that, there was nothing that really thing. Like, the best thing for me that he did was when he caught my kick and he followed up with that right hand. He caught it nice and followed through, and that was what put me on my back. If he'd stayed standing, I think it would have been a completely different fight. He followed me straight down in the card, and it was just happy days. Collected him in.
I think when you got them awkward, rapid guys who were dirty southpaws, I think it doesn't matter. With a southpaw, you're always going to take that.
Dirty southpaw.
That's what I always go. I
charge him double.
I got a couple of you, like, dirty southpaw.
The guy uses a disabled toilet in
here. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's hard. It takes time to find your timing with a southpaw, doesn't it? Especially when they start fast. It's like the tournaments the southpaws always do well.
You've
like
just
free rounders.
You've just got to be aware of now with the southpaws.
Boxing, I don't mind because I find it's different, but again, you can find it. But that guy, his rhythm is everywhere, and you know what I mean. Like, he come out like crazy, like he dumped everything he had in that first round. As soon as I got back on my feet, I think he just gutted.
Yeah,
as soon as I
tried to break you, and you didn't break, and that was it then.
As soon as I got back on my feet, started landing, I hit him with a 1-2, and that was where a lot of people didn't realise. Like, it was my cross that did most of the damage before the knee, because I hit him with the cross, and he adjusted his gum shield. His leg was wobbling everywhere, and then as soon as I hit that scissor knee, it sort of half folded him, and he backed up, and then as soon as I started hitting him with everything in, and I come back in with that knee again, that finished him off.
Good variety, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. It's the variety that does it most of the time with the finish. I mean, it's people. It's only you know what hurt him and everything. You know what I mean? When you're in, he knows as well.
Caught me out of the kick, mate. He said this after it. He caught me a kick on the ribs, and it was before I shot in, because I just thought I could feel my lungs closing, and I thought I need to do something, or otherwise he's going to start piling on. So as soon as I shot in and hit that takedown, spun around, got his back, and then obviously he caught my kick. That was the best thing he could have done.
Yeah, it's little things like that changes, right? I mean,
100%.
Especially with, as you say, you're talking about the kick, and you mentioned it's that side, and he's a southpaw, and the amount of leverage he's got that side, it's a nasty shot.
It seems to me like as soon as you got your timing right, that was game over for him. He seemed like, as you said, he seemed to give up everything in the first round, and you experience, you're an undefeated pro boxer before you turned professional MMA. Once you worked out his timing, it just seemed like it was all you from that point on. Is that fair to say?
Back to the jab, and as soon as the jab started landing, it was just, people don't deal with it well. Like, you don't have to put 100% power into it, you just got to catch them.
But again, like, sometimes with the southpaw, especially in MMA, where there's lots of options for them, it can be hard to land. I mean, very hard. I mean, look at what you thought Brett has it.
Yeah.
He came out again an orthodox style, but a southpaw, and hard to deal with at the beginning. I mean, and then you find the time, and it takes. Like with an orthodox guy, at least things are coming from where you expect them at first, and you can adapt within half the time. But as I say, he's adapted well both times, so it doesn't matter.
I do another podcast, the Boxing Wales podcast, and we had one of your friends and sparring partners, Kieran Gethin, on, and he says you have a mutual friend that will watch your fights and watch his fights as well. Buys a ticket off you, buys a ticket off him, and he said to Kieran, please do not have a fight like Mesa's last fight. My heart can't take it. Is that something a lot of your fans have said?
No,
That's why they buy the tickets.
my missus normally worries, my mum and dad normally worries. My dad was chilled out in this one. We knew he was gonna come out hard, and a couple people put on Facebook afterwards it was a hell of a comeback, but I don't think it was a comeback. Apart from he caught me with one good kick,
I don't think you were ever out of it at all.
And there wasn't a time in that fight. You watch Ross Houston's fight in the weekend, he got socked in the fourth round, and fair play to him for coming back from that. That's a comeback because you've stayed on your feet, you've dragged to the end, and were tough. But
perhaps he just looked in more trouble than people
he
thought.
landed a few, but his hands he was hitting me with, I was backpedaling, he was catching me, and a lot of time he was hitting the top of my head. The one time he landed clean was when I threw the head kick, and he caught the head kick clean, and then obviously we ended up going down. Apart from that, I was fine. And
I laughed at that. It was like, what
exciting.
comeback was going What comeback?
I got a
He was hitting him a bit, miss. So.
I
I don't know if you saw
did
that.
catch it a few eye, but as soon as I started landing my jab again, the jab went in, then the 1-2 went in, and then the knees went in, and then that was it done.
I'm looking at it now. It's 4 minutes and 3 seconds. TKO knees to the body. There was a lot happening in that 4 minutes.
Well,
Yeah.
2.5 minutes, he went mental. As soon as it hit the 2.5 minute mark, you see him literally. I got back my feet, and he backed off the gas, and I started picking it up the pace. And the fact is, one of us was going away. I didn't expect it to go past the first. I thought it could go to the second, but if it got to the second, we just taken him down and subbed him.
So obviously you think that's your best win. I'm looking at you, obviously there's some good wins there.
I 40 bums.
No, you are, and that's when I look at them now. Sean Luther is a debut. That's not an easy fight.
Well,
Brett.
my debut, going back to that, I was supposed to have fought Brett Haslett.
Yeah.
Obviously, he had problems with his brain scans, and Safe MMA was literally. They did the same with me. They brought me back in for my brain scans and told me that there was an error and I had to go see a brain specialist. So I had to pay extra to go see a brain specialist. And then he basically sat me in there for 15 minutes, told me there's nothing wrong, did a normal concussion test and kicked me out. Charged me 300
Took
quid.
your money.
300 quid for 15 minutes. Banging people through he was.
I'm going to medical school.
You'll put your time in your hands.
So Brett Haslett I was supposed to fight. He got pulled his brain scans. They found me a new opponent. Didn't even know the guy's name. I just said yes. No. Right. No. They found me a different opponent. He pulled again on his head goal. He had a torn retina come up on his brain on his eye test. So they found me a new opponent then, but I couldn't go pro. I had to do an amateur debut, and then I fought David Adonis for Army, and then
That's right.
that was on there, and then obviously Sean Luther was booked in after that.
So you only ever had one amateur MMA, two, is it?
I had one when I was 16 on one of Heathgate's shows, he did the
Grappling Strike.
The grappling
Grappling
strike.
Strike. I remember them.
Yeah,
I was
me
like
too.
16 at the time, I think. I fought some guy covered in tattoos. I was 16 at the time. I was like,
I don't think you were born when I went to the first grappling strike.
Mason might have been there, but he was like,
They were a long time ago.
yeah. But I fought on one of those, one of his last ones, I think, and
So that was a
the
long
guy
time
in
I think
before.
about
Sevens.
2008, I think probably was his last grappling strike around
I
that
think
time.
mine was 2006.
Heathgate with his bum bag on and that.
11 years earlier than your last one.
So, obviously you had a pro fight, not much amateur experience, but you're a well-rounded competitor. You fought in other disciplines.
16 years I've been training.
Yeah,
16
exactly.
years.
So, whereas a lot of people have long amateur careers, it was
Yeah.
something that you fought other disciplines as well. You fought. Am I right in saying you fought like kickboxing and things like that?
Started off kickboxing, went from kickboxing then into judo, BJJ. Obviously while doing the rest. BJJ then I did a bit of Thai.
You competed quite well at judo, didn't you?
Yeah, national.
Brett was talking about this
yeah.
before, wasn't he? Brett Jones was saying.
Yeah, I remember one of my first competitions. Actually, I was thinking about this on the way up. One of my first competitions, I was getting the ref of my fight stopped my fight halfway through because his son was fighting. It was Brett Jones' old man.
Oh, Bertie.
My coach were mental on the side. Went, Bertie, what are you doing? Brett was fighting on the other mat. The little comp in Swansea, one of the biggest comps.
You never change.
Yeah, I think it was really young then.
Because Brett was talking highly about before we fought on the Dread, and we were talking about it well, if you remember. And,
I first saw you in the pro boxing ring, and it's weird because at the time I never heard of you, but I knew everyone ringside. I was like,
what are they all doing here?
I was like, yeah, why is Abbottillery why is the entire... why is Abbottillery in Bristol or
who's on the card?
This is an MMA crowd.
What's Chris Edwards doing here? And he's had a time of his life. He was not coming back, and loud abusing the MC, poor guy, and you impress a lot of people in the pro boxing world, and so early on in your career, you did the standard, you fought. You were doing your apprenticeship in boxing. You have to fight a lot of journeymen before you get them opportunities, and they're hard to look good against because they're there to tuck up, move on, because they want to fight every week and they just protect themselves. But you impressed a lot of people. You went out there and you had 3 fights. I mean, one of them I remember watching live on. I think it was on Facebook Live when you were fighting in a dinner show. And
that was probably my hardest test of pro boxing. The guy didn't even try to make weight, come in miles heavy. We took the fight, and
Kevin McCauley,
yeah, he's tough, man. He's
off his head. Kevin,
yeah, good laugh. He was talking to me a lot when we spoke to each other when we was fighting. That's a good laugh. It's
funny when
he talks to the crowd as well, and he's like, "Oh shit, again."
Good man, good. But caught with the feel. Didn't he just shout? Like, do you know what I mean? He's a good journeyman. He shells up and he don't really take much, and it's hard to land clean on him.
But you still impressed.
You clinch up, you just want to knee or start kicking people because you just get a ball. Like,
so at that point, you got to change the sport.
Well, the thing was, I was doing judo. The judo was going terrible, and the judo was always going terrible because I just had no natural inkling to judo. I know they say there's no such thing as natural talent, but I literally drove my coach mental. Like, Craig he's probably one of the best coaches I've ever met, and obviously I was in the Welsh and I was in the British team at one point. But I just had no natural talent for judo. I just literally used to grind for it because my old man said to me when we started, "There's no wrestling in the UK, so you need to do something." Like, do you know what I mean? So we did judo, and I just trained hard and tried to do it, and was trying to do the MMA as well. And judo was going okay. Like, I think I was top 2 junior. Connor was above me. And then in the seniors, I think I was like top 5, top 6 out of the weight. And considering, like, obviously Connor was above me, one of the other Welsh boys was above me, and then there was like 3 Olympians. The boys who gone to the Olympics before, none of them medal, but started in the men's category. But the judo was going well, and the plan was to do judo up until I was about 19, and then go straight to MMA. But 18, I tore my shoulder. I had a knot on my shoulder. Went back, damaged again, and the second time they was like, "Look, we're going to need to operate again, but you're going to have to make a decision. You go back to judo." He said, "You're probably not going to be able to do MMA." Like they said, you damaged again, you're done. So, like, my shoulder's better than ever been, but I had to find something else to do. And at the time, I did a bit of jiu-jitsu, so I went out to Brazil and was doing jiu-jitsu full time, and just too expensive.
I thought I do jiu-jitsu, so I went to Brazil.
Well, I was. I sort of like when I done my shoulder, it was the most depressed I've ever been because, like, I've always trained as a pro since I was a kid. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I trained like 3-4 times a night. Even then, I just bounced from class to class and trying to get as many in. And I didn't know what I couldn't train, couldn't do anything. I had problems with a breakup when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Mrs. I'd been together for like 10 months, so my head is
It's a long time when you're a kid.
I've just been in trouble for fighting, so I was like, right, I need to get away from here. Like, so
Brazil.
I went to Brazil. Yeah, one of Greg had a contact.
Jamie went with her, didn't he?
No,
Not
Jamie went
Jamie.
before me.
Before he was, yeah.
That was why they had a contact through, and he said, "Look, I'll sort it out for you." So Greg sorted it. So
Nice.
I had someone to stay sponsored. I did what they call them, raising money from the new on them accounts. What they call
GoFundMe.
Oh,
pages.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you could get away with them back then. You couldn't do it back now. I did a GoFundMe page and didn't even tell my parents until I got all the funding for it. And I was like, I'm going to Brazil. And I was like, what do you mean you go to Brazil? I'm like, I'm leaving in 2 weeks.
Parents
Like
like,
Solberg.
I knew it should be online.
So
Most kids watch porn, but
so I went to Brazil, trained out there. It was quite good. I'd gone to good Thai class out there, and I just, do you know what I mean? I
fancy doing Thai boxing when to Thailand.
Yeah, fancy with a Thai, what a Thailand.
I got
Now
back.
he's back
I've been,
before Cali.
Yeah, that's it then.
I got back and been boxing a lot. And the main thing was, like, I spoke to him and he said, "Come on, we'll go some amateur fights." So we spoke about this earlier. I went in and started applying to my amateur boxing license, and my coach came to me and he was like, "Look, they've just banned someone for doing kickboxing. So they may be funny about that with the kickboxing or the judo." So I was like, "Well, what are we gonna do?" So we started. He put the word out a bit to some people who was something, and they was like, "Nah, they're probably gonna give you a ban." So I was like, "Well, what's the point?" It's like I've only got like I was 17 at the time, I think. I was like, I want to go back into MMA, and that's the game. I just want to get some striking. I was like, if I can't go amateur, what am I gonna do? So he made a joke about going pro. So the next day, I drove to London, met up with Mickey Elliott the next day, and signed a contract with him. Come back, walked in the gym, and said, "I signed a pro contract." He went, "Happy days." He said, "Just get working." I was training with him, man. I'd turn up in the morning about 8 o'clock, box with him, do pads. Go back home, go to S&C, come back, go back in the gym, do some footwork and stuff. Still doing as much as I could. Like if I had fights coming up, I just do nothing with boxing. But when I did, I was boxing twice a day for most days. I'd do jiu-jitsu classes and judo classes and everything I could around it. Just train. It's a good thing.
It's like a shame we couldn't do the ABA, the Welsh ABA. They've gone funny with. Mike Edwards wasn't allowed to do boxing, amateur boxing, because he hadn't done MMA in years. But they said, "Oh, you done a wrestling comp last year," and I'm like, "If there's one thing you can't do in boxing is wrestle," so I don't see the relativity to me really. But they've gone
on both ends of the scale.
Exactly. There are a couple of things happened with pro fighters going over, and it put a stop on everything. And I think it's a lack of the Amateur Boxing Association knowing what is what, because they denied that. Like I remember there was like, "Oh, kickboxing and Muay Thai, they're not sports. Boxing is different," and then it caught up on them.
The pro boxing is not much different, man. Like I went in front of them. It took ages to get my pro license. I think it took me a year because they were literally just throwing as many things in my way as they could. And I had to go in front of a committee. And this is about 3 months before I got it. And they were like, because they don't have a rush. Yeah. And I sat in front of them, and like it was 2 people on the board who were actually to do with the pro boxing organisation, and the other ones are just. I mean, they have like a lawyer there, and so they do things. They just. Do you mean?
I've been in front of them a few times, but
and one of
a few fines.
The boy was literally he didn't look much older than me, so that's not saying much. He's probably about 25, 26, because I know I look young, but he looked young, right? In a suit, looked arrogant as I'm going to swear in here because I swore twice.
He'll bleep it out.
Arrogant. I'll try not to swear anyway, it's not good. But arrogant, so didn't really rub me the right way anyway. And then he turned around, he's like, "Well, how do we know you can fight?" It's like, "Well, I've just sat here for the past 30 minutes telling you I've been training since I was 6 and stuff I've been doing. You're going to ask me, how do I know I can fight?" He's like, "How do you know you're not going to go in there and freeze up, or you're actually going to be an injury to yourself?" It's
Let me
stupid,
show you.
Like. And I was like, "Give me a chance." So it's like, in the end, they come and watch me do some pads, and they was like, "Oh yeah, we think you'll be fine." And it's a nightmare, man. And then obviously when I did get a box, they cancelled so many events. Obviously there's nothing to do with the board. That was to do with shows dropping, fighters getting dropped. But it's just like the respect. Like I remember I was supposed to fight in an arena in Cardiff. I don't know which one it was. I don't know whether it was Millennium or something. They did the show in the end. It might have been in the Ice Arena. But the main event got injured, so they pulled the card. Well, I didn't even find out until the official press release had been gone that I wasn't fighting. This was a week before. I was getting literally started cutting my weight cut, and my boxing coach's friend literally rang me, and because he was to do with the Argus, he was like, "Oh, you realise they put an official press release out? Did your fight's been cancelled, like the show?" And I was like, "Well, no." So I rang my manager. He's like, "Mate," he's like, "I've not heard anything. It's not that I haven't got back to you because I was tamping with him because I thought he's not told me." He's like, "I haven't heard anything. I'll get on to it." So I found out all this, started returning tickets and stuff, and a week later, so this was literally the week of the fight, they rang me. They rang my coach, my manager, and they was like, oh yeah, we had to cancel this and reason. Tell them we're going to put another show on in a few weeks. Keep the tickets and you can carry them over and just use them. I was like, tell them to go themselves.
But that's the problem. I think that because the ABA and the BBOC they had the monopoly for so long.
They don't get along anyway.
They've got a bit arrogant in that we can do what we want. We haven't got to tell people anything. I think, and I think it's biting them in the ass now. Ricky's more involved than I am, obviously.
I love the British Boxing Board of Control.
But yeah,
my friends.
There's a lot more happening now, so
it's hard for them. And like I understand how hard it is for fighters to put on shows and stuff, and how much they do struggle with stuff. But there's some good Welsh talent coming through, and it's just hard. There's nothing to come along.
If it wasn't for the way you were treated in pro boxing, not knowing when your next fight is, would you have stuck it out longer, or was it always the plan to have 10 fights? I was
pro boxing 10 fights.
Because that's where Joseph Duffy went, and he had 7 pro fights.
Well, that was at the 10 come from. He did 10.
Did he?
I'm sure he did 10. Maybe 7, Mike, because you probably know better than me, but I'm sure it was 10. But the target was 10 anyway. We thought, give it 2 years and get 10 fights, 5 a year. It sounds like a lot, but again, they don't work. So I thought I'd get 5.
The difference is with Joe, it was like mid-career.
Yeah.
Was like,
midlife crisis.
Obviously, when they said it was before
he already fought for the title by then, didn't he?
Exactly, yeah. Midlife crisis.
But like the main thing is like the reason the decision came. Like I know it sounds as if it's sort of like end of the thing. Well, I knew I needed to work on my striking. Like the whole reason I wanted to do the amateur boxing is because I needed to work on my striking. Again, if you want to fight in the UFC, you need to be exciting. Like I understand you can have these boring fights and they'll go on there, but they'll just cut through. Like they don't care. If you're on win streaks, they'll cut down. It's the ones that they want, the exciting ones who can knock people out.
That's what the fans want to see, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew I could work on my kicking, and I'm still working on my kicking. Obviously, I work on it every day.
Got a man here teach you how to kick.
It's a joint effort.
Knees and elbows. I've done most of GIF, and obviously I showed in my last fight. You know what I mean,
don't you think, like at that point with the boxing, didn't you think let's have a go at Muay Thai? No, because there's a lot less involved then. I'm going to get beat up now. But
it's also a sport where you can't compete every other week either. So you've got a job to walk for a couple of weeks after a good time.
Yeah, there is that. But as I say, when you're only managing to get 3 boxing fights and you're just looking for experience, there's plenty of fights out there.
Well, when you announced that your pro debut, you're going to do your pro MMA debut, you ended up having to have an amateur just by default. But there was a lot of people in the Welsh pro boxing scene really gutted that you made the jump. They were like, a lot of them were like basing like the they bought into your future as a pro boxer. So that's a testament to how well you looked.
Well, like fair play, like a lot of them. Like I've been lucky in my career. I've always had good criticism, and like I've never been criticised anything harder. Like I'm always hardest on myself than anyone's ever.
You are tough on yourself. Very
anyone's
tough
ever
on yourself.
me. And like I've never heard anything that's been untrue. Like no one's really said, "Oh, you should have done this and this." When it's always been, I know I've done wrong in fights, or like my coaches have sat me down, and I've always liked my coaches to be hard on me because at the end of the day, if you get this bubble around yourself, you think, "Oh, I could have won it if I'd done this." Well, I didn't do that. That's why I lost.
No, I like what you're saying there, like because we always say there's too many yes men in combat sports. Too many people who want to be with someone who said, "No, you're great," when you clearly wasn't on anything. So like, that's a really cool, fresh approach.
People always people say to me about it, like, you're a really good winner. Yeah, well, you took a few punches. As a coach, you've got to tell them what they're doing wrong, and that's it's funny because my missus thinks I'm like great, so she knows. But like someone who trains with me now works with her, and she said, "Oh, you do realise if you want to fight, which he does, he's going to be a bit of a." I'm just being truthful. Like, I'm trying to help him. Like, oh yeah, you've done really well. I remember I was helping an amateur boxer before, and in his club because the coach was my friend, and he was like, "Oh, you've done really well." I said, "When you tell the truth, he boxed like a knobhead."
A good coach will tell you.
Why don't you just tell him what we've done wrong?
Not what you want to hear.
So he didn't throw a jab. Do you know what I mean? Why you tell him? And that's me. Like, and I think. And that the fighters will go back again, as I say, and review the tape, see what they've done wrong. I fucked that up. I passed that up. And I passed that up. That's the ones that get somewhere.
Mason actually sends a PDF out, don't you? After you
Yeah,
fight
well,
to
my
the
brother's
coaches. Yeah.
my brother's on the ball with that. Like,
To like send it to all the coaches so they got to
Review
feel like
forms.
a reviewing of his fight to see.
No
where
way.
he
review
was.
performance.
I've never heard of that before. That is
It's like a business now.
yeah. It
That's
is a
confidence.
business.
It's hard work for me because I can't spell. But
My boxing coach, I
I'm a driver.
You got to draw a smiley.
we did good.
Hashtag.
Like my brother, my dad, they're two big businessmen, and they've always said like you're a product, teach it like a business, and it's the best. This is the best way to take it. At the end of the day, if like we have a pre-fight meeting with everything that needs to be sorted into the camp, analysis and stuff, and then obviously after, like people just think after they go out and celebrate, well, it's good, but you need to pick up on what you're doing, and like within a day, like after I fight, a lot of the time you don't remember a lot what happened in the fight, and that's not saying you took a lot of big blows, just because it's so exciting.
Adrenaline, you don't know adrenaline.
You dread the walk. Like I think most of this fight, the last fight, especially like within time, it fades quite quick as well. So that's why it's good to get in. Like after I fight, I always watch the fight back like 3-4 times. Like I don't really sleep the night after because I'm that pumped up. So just keep watching the fight back, and I'll write some notes myself, and then driving this at the wall, and it give it to the boys, and they'll watch the tape as well. Because again, you watch it in real life, it's completely different to watch the fights.
Exactly.
I noticed after your last fight as well, you had a post-fight interview and with multiple media outlets, and the way you were talking after, I thought, yes, that's what people want. They don't want people to say like, oh yeah, they don't want you give it the big one, and that's what I liked about it.
Yeah, what I liked.
You are a product. You market yourself.
Exactly, and that's what I liked about it as well. Is that you didn't aim it at any specific fighter, which happens too often.
I'm not allowed to do that.
But it is
closed doors, maybe.
Yeah, no, but that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's time and a place for it, isn't it?
when you're there, like I am coming for your wall. That's what you want to hear. Do you know
I
what I
just
mean?
want to scrap.
I am coming for your wall. Like
I've always been the same.
wherever they let me fight, I won next.
It was good that you actually looked like, your media obligations, as call it. You actually looked like you wanted to be there. Like this wasn't just a thing you have to do. It was like, I'm coming from you all. And I was like, yes.
He's a great role model as well. I mean, like, he doesn't burn the candle at both ends. He doesn't drink. He doesn't go out partying and stuff. He trains 4 times a day. Which while the little ends need to look up to.
No, you're right. You're spot on.
Right, we got Eros is giving me the finger, so that means we're running out of time. We'll be back after the break.
Hi guys, welcome back to part 2. Right, so we just chatted to Mason about his career. What's so far?
It's a lot for a year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right in saying I haven't actually looked at the records, but you are probably Wales's most active professional mixed martial artist at the moment. You seem to have come from Norway and just in 6 fights built up this like real big following, and a lot of people from around the UK have noticed as well. It's not just people in Wales are talking about you. So, well, what's next? I mean, you're not on the upcoming Cage-Wise 100 card, are you?
Well, 2 weeks after my last fight, let me just go back to this quick. 2 weeks after my last fight, I had a notification on my Facebook that was a year since my debut. So, I mean, it's been a busy year. I take some time out now. I'm back in the gym, training hard. Got a couple of little niggles. I'm healing up, but mostly just, it's just take some time to chill out. And I aimed to do the 100, and then before it, like my brother and my old man sat me down and said, "Look, it's like it may be a big fight, but if you're pushing to that caliber where you're gonna get a high caliber opponent, if you don't know full camp for it, you're gonna slip back. Do you know what I mean? So I think we talked about it. Like I said, I had a few niggles, which was just getting to the point where they could have become problems. So it's like, this just take some time out. My weight had slowly been sliding down, so put some weight back on. Go enjoy yourself and start and just train to enjoy rather than just train for camps all the time.
The thing is as well, like in 1 year, so you've got like 52 weeks, yeah? You've had 6 fights. So, you've had 4 weeks probably out of camp because 8-week camps,
Rolling camps, really.
Rolling camps,
yeah. So, and they say you should train martial arts or MMA all year and then doing your camp is conditioning, really, isn't it? So you need time out to learn.
Yeah.
It's as simple as
Yeah,
that.
there's less. You train differently if you're out of a camp. I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know,
You take more on.
There's not so much pressure for a start, and you can soak up a bit more if you like.
And when you're in camp, you're training at one specific person, not a division. And now you can train skills to beat a division, not just a person. And that's, I think, why you need it. Because I remember even before you said, because I obviously watch your fights all the time, but before you said, it came about that you wasn't fighting in December, I thought, you probably do a break. Do you know what I mean? Because 6 fights in a year is...
Right, it was good work, fair play. Like, and obviously it would have been nice to do the 100 and like the building off is the biggest card ever. But there's always going to be something new, and there's always going to be something next onto it. And obviously I'm gutted not to be able to fight in front of the home crowd, but you never know what's going to happen. Like we look at March, April time next year, whether we fight away from home or whether we fight at home, it just depends on who they offer me. Like
they'll probably have you as the meet and greet for people that photos with you.
Yeah, I hope so.
You go touch
That'd
that
be
now.
pretty cool.
I think one more fight, high caliber opponent, and then obviously I can start calling for that belt. Then and go.
So when do you reckon you'll be back?
March, April.
Oh, you just said it. Sorry.
Don't forget, Mason's camps consist of travelling to America as well. Like,
Yeah.
So in that 52 weeks, you've had 6 fights.
Yeah, bless him, he's been in California.
So,
You don't get no tan, like, he comes back whiter than he's...
Half adult life out there.
so obviously you've touched upon you've been training out in America. Tell us where you've been training and which standout names you've been training with.
Oh, Christ. So back in March, I went on Team Alpha Male. They have 18.
You're probably the biggest guy on the map there.
Yeah.
So they got
Ryan's probably bigger than now.
There's 18 UFC fighters on the mat. So
He's going to name drop them now, you know.
Yeah, so
that's what we want.
Darren Elkins, Cynthia Galvao,
Sage and the guys.
Sage Northcutt.
You can't miss one now.
Obviously Uriah Faber, Chad Mendes, Touchy Feely.
That's a real name.
There's the Japanese guy. What's his name?
Taru.
Taru.
Don't underestimate him, James.
You know, there's it's a packed mat, and they have a few fighters from Bellator. Damien.
How many lightweights are there at that level?
Lightweights. Ooh. Well, if you count Sage as lightweight, there was 4 or 5, and then featherweights as well.
You know, just being in the same division as you, fighting UFC.
I mean, when he come back, we're in class, like, and he just mentioned, "Oh yeah, Sage said about that," and it's like, it's crazy. He's like starstruck.
Honestly, like I touched on that before, where we forget about that. You know, some people think it may be an act where he puts on the way he acts. Yeah. He is genuinely I literally with him for hours once, and he is just genuinely like a Christian smiling boy. Yeah.
So I see you mentioned all the men who train here. I mean, was Paige Van Zandt on there?
She's changed camps.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh,
where's she moving to?
Back where she's from, isn't it? Where she's from, she said.
Yeah, she's training with her boyfriend all that now, isn't he?
Oh, okay.
He's trying to make his debut.
I don't like her anymore anyway, more about Michelle Waterson. So. No, it's great to have experience going out. I mean, I remember when I used to train with Daniel Thomas Denzel, and he was in the top lightweights at the time in the UK when he was active. He'd go out and train with Matt Hughes, and he'd come back and he'd learned all this new funky crap. And me and Lewis, it was me and Lewis who were training, and Lewis was only quite wet behind the ears at the time, and Denzel would come back and teach us things and do things to us, and Denzel's the thickest guy I ever met, and for him to take on board stuff, you know. And is it the same when he comes back to Celtic Pride?
I mean, obviously, when he goes to Team Alpha Male, they're not really a striking, not renowned for their striking as such. So it really is out to my forte then, if you like. I mean, you'd have to speak to Greg. And
for this, against obviously Casper, my entire camp was basically almost wrestling based. I got some pad sessions in with one of the guys, and then Michael did some, it was really high level lightweight out there. He did some Thai sessions with me, and then come back and then pushed on quite a lot with Giff. And again,
how far before do you come back in? Preferably 2 weeks ago. So you do like how many weeks out there?
I did 8 this time.
Like that. So you do like a lot of people. They go out there and they come back to finish like a month or something to, I suppose, climatize or whatever.
So you got a good rapport, I guess, with all the alpha male guys. I mean, your next camp, are you going to go it's the same dream, or are you going to try somewhere new? Or?
I'm undecided on that. We'll see. I may obviously I am going to go back to Team Alpha now. The guy's brilliant. I may try somewhere else just for like a short break to see. Just do you know what I mean? It's just nice to go and train.
Just compare as well, isn't it?
Maybe go there out of camp.
Yeah.
Because you keep going out of camp and again you concentrating on an opponent then.
When I was 17, I trained with top team in America.
Right, okay.
I didn't train with the main team. I trained with one of the branches in Florida when I was on holiday. So I went up there on holiday and I spent a week training with them. So
his mum and dad was at Disneyland and
gym training.
I'm gonna go play with the Thai lads.
He was like, look, you can pay for these sessions in this match, or you can probably just pay unlimited for the week. And my old man was like, oh yeah, sound no worries. So he dropped me in on it, and I do every session, and then go home. And then the guy was going, you just need to go home. You just stay all day.
Parents are picking him up with Mickey ears on. Like, you had fun? Yeah.
11 years ago, I went out to Florida for Halloween for 2 weeks with my family, and the guy Tommy, he was from Birmingham, living in Florida, and because I was doing a bit of writing for Fighters Only at the time, he arranged for me to train at Gracie Barra Orlando for free, and they made out with like I was some big writer guy. And I just did a little column covering like local shows every time I went to a local show.
I think that's America though, isn't it? Yeah. Everything is like, oh, you do that, woo. Do you know what I mean?
I
Everything's
trained out
blown out.
And I walked in the gym, skinny white guy, and there's just like a line of them, and it's like they all wanted to roll with me.
Yeah.
I was like, I come for the Thai class. All right, I'll do the MMA class first, but they did all try to tap me.
No, but that's the way it was.
Yeah.
That's the way. If you fight out there, everyone wants your signature. If they know you're not, I mean, that's the way. Yeah, which is brilliant because then you get really good support.
Well, I guess that's how you build your respect as well. I mean,
there's nothing like going to war with people as well. Mine's there. When you go to a new camp, you're training them, and they just want to. You just look at them and they give it that little nod, thinking, "All right, this is going to be a good
gentleman's agreement. Let's go."
And just literally just beat the smoke out of each other. I had that a few times out there.
So you've obviously trained with Team Alpha Male, and that's as part of your camp and as part of your identity now, as well as fighter. But you're also a member of Celtic Pride. Stevens, the Thai boxing coach here.
Greg Creel is what you just
Greg's Creel. I just want to point out the elephant in the room. Stevens' t-shirt is the best t-shirt I've ever seen shown. Like, if you're familiar with Pride FC, it's just Celtic Pride never die.
I'm going to send Ricky one because I forgot to bring
Basically, I'm going to start training with Celtic Pride just to get the t-shirt. Because you can't just give me that. I've got to earn it. So, that I'll be down the
Thai
gym
class
now.
or BJJ?
Undecided. The easiest one.
Get him on one of the interclubs.
It's good.
I used to love it.
He knows an interclub, Ricky.
Bit of a legend on the interclub scene, Ricky, mate.
I threw some bombs on
Back
the
in the day.
clubs.
I think if you type in Muay Thai Wales, which I regularly do on YouTube, Ricky's one of the
Ricky
first
Wright
ones to come up, like
Do you
11
see
years ago or
Do you
something.
see my
In-
spinning
into
back
Ricky.
fist? Do you see my combo, right? In the last bit of the fight, right? I throw a spinning back fist, and he
They're illegal
land
in
it,
Thai, I don't know.
Lee Powell was shouting, "You can't do it!" And then he went back, my opponent, and I Superman punched him, and then the bell went. I was like, "Yeah."
Well, spinning back fist banned in Muay Thai.
No, but spinning back fist in Muay Thai. It was spinning elbow, which my boy knocked the boy up with on the weekend.
No spinning back fist at any level.
No, any level is banned, yeah.
That's bad, isn't it? Yeah, we go for
Thai's
spinning
done like
elbow
that.
in someone's face.
We a couple of my lads fought up in Liverpool on
Thank God.
Saturday, and one of my lads, he's recently turned A class. He's had 2 A classes now, but he stopped them both with elbows. He hit the boy with a spinning elbow.
Carl.
Yeah,
I'd seen that.
split his eye right open. His eyeball was hanging.
Carl fought in one of my shows before.
Yeah, he's
Good lad, yeah.
improved
Bill
a lot
Lass,
of late, and
Yeah.
he's doing good.
Mill.
No, Carl Johnson. I can't get him to lose weight anymore, so he's washed up now. He's my assistant now, which is nice.
That's my. I remember when I was in Thailand the second time I ended up fighting, and I was there for a month, so it was like a holiday/camp.
Paradise.
And and like you say, you enjoy training, and you end up doing that and drinking less until New Year come. But I remember asking for the 10-8 elbow because I didn't know what the rules was in Muay Thai. The 10-8 elbow. Yeah, no problem. pull his head down, jump,
Yeah.
and spike him on the back
So
of the head.
You can do all that. You
You
kick
can't
to the
spin it back fist,
You
can you?
can't spin it back fist.
But they get a bit funny if you travel with the leg as well.
Couple of steps. Depends where you're fighting, I suppose.
Yeah, I think something happened in Pittsburgh.
I mean, I teach them, even the juniors, I teach them as soon as they got the leg to run with it. If the ref says any difference, then they'll go from there. But the quicker you run with the leg, the quicker they're going down. Anyway. So you don't need many steps there.
I think someone fell out of a stadium in Thailand and something happened.
Yeah. Well, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
You've got to be on. The timekeepers in Thailand have got to literally like that a lot of the time.
20 fights when you land the trophies, isn't it?
Yeah. my last show, I spent a fortune on the trophy. Someone nearly went off, and I was thinking, don't break. I got the right amount, you know.
Yeah, there's a big spike on the top of one.
So obviously you're one of the head coaches at Celtic Pride. Got a couple of young prospects now that we should look out for.
Yeah, I mean, the fight team's really busy now. I mean, this month. I think I've been to 3 shows this month. I'm in Birmingham next week on a big show on Raw, which is Steve Bloom's show. It's one of the biggest shows, apart from the top 2, which is MTGP and Yorker. We're knocking the doors of that with some of the fighters now. I mean, obviously I've got Lindsay. She's ranked number 2 in the UK. She's won every title. Struggling to get her fights at the minute. I've got Carl Johnson, who I just touched on. He's doing really good. And then I've got probably 10 strong fighters at the
really good team. We want to get Lindsay on here soon as well.
Yeah.
We actually want to do a girls' day, don't we?
We want to do a
She'd be good for the girls' day, yeah.
Our female fans have been crying out for a girls' day, so we gotta cater for everyone.
Well, I mean, James recently put a female fight on your last show, which was
good.
good.
That was quality.
Yeah. It's good to see.
But there's a couple of Welsh girls coming through in different sports. I mean, I could say I've lost 3 female fights through pregnancy in the last 2 years.
Can't do nothing.
I mean, the boys won't pull out for it.
I've got the juniors as well, my junior team.
If the boys pulled out, maybe the girls would have still
Fights would have still been on.
Some of them might fight us, I've told them that.
The junior team's going well as well. I got some really good talent in the
really good team.
but which is important to, they're the future at the end of the day. So,
that's one of the things I always struggle with is bridging the gap from the juniors to the adults.
It's that like recently we've done a thing in the gym, and we've just originally we was going to give 3 teenagers free training for 6 months just to get them in the gym, because that age, as soon as they hit puberty and they find girls, it's hard to keep them in the gym. As soon as they're allowed out on their own accord, exactly. So we've actually give 4 people 6 months free training now, with the end goal to get at least one of them on my show in March as an end-class fight. And basically I'd like to turn someone's life around. Like a lot of these kids are just hanging about town. Their parents can't afford for them to be in a gym, so we've give a scholarship away.
Because you're another gym based in Abertillery, and Abertillery is a very small mining town in Wales, and it's got arguably two of the bigger gyms.
Well, Artillery got mad in Artillery.
Yeah, I mean, Shaky's an Abertillery guy. Shaky's an Abertillery guy through, but his gym have just moved up the road a little bit. We're actually in the town centre in Abertillery. I always say to everyone, people say you go to shows wherever where you're from, or Abertillery, and they know they've heard it somewhere. They've heard Ricky announce it or something like that, and I'm like, well, we say it's the fight capital of Wales because we've got 15,000 people, and like at least 8,000 of them can fight. or blue belt and above in BJJ or something, So it's not a very nice place to run the door, Everyone. It's pretty risky, but it's just, and I mean, obviously, Heath is an Abertillery guy originally from the Falcons, and I mean Joe come from Heath originally, and and I mean so it's got big fighting roots, to be fair.
Like I trained with Falcons tonight for
a long time. So did myself. I mean, I did, Shaky did. I mean, everyone sort of come from the same tree, if you like, originally.
You get talented guys, funny. You get areas where nobody fights.
Because you never hear much. You don't see
much. Not really on the scene.
On the MMA scene.
Yeah, but they'll still do their points fighting, and they're very regimented. A proper martial arts club.
Keith's son is going into MMA now, Brennan, and I'd be interested to see.
He's about 16 now, I expect.
Yeah,
is he training out of?
He's good.
Out of Falcons. We get to see Falcons back on the MMA scene because they did so much.
Of course, I mean, Heath was a bit of a pioneer, if you like, especially round our way with the early grappling strikes and stuff. My first fight was on grappling strike.
So your event, where wasn't that today? Was it?
No, Ebervale, which is basically a 15-minute drive.
Yeah,
so
it's not far. It's on the way back.
But it was the venue that gave us the event.
The venue
was great.
The venue. Ebervale Leisure Centre, what a cracking venue.
Brilliant. Tiered seating, the staff there are brilliant. They can't do enough for you.
Anyway, in that area, give you a show on. Was it just your?
Mine and Carl Roby, my co-promoter.
Yeah, they put a show on in
June.
June. First event, and normally you see first events and there's a lot of mistakes, but there wasn't.
I've been in the game a long time, you know. I fought on a lot of shows where they've been MMA, Muay Thai. So you learn as you go, don't know, you know. You can get in rules meetings when I'm giving up the same rules meeting what I've learned along the way at my show.
But I mean, you had a bit of everything in there, which I liked, and not many pull-outs.
No, well, we had 21 fights in there. I mean, obviously, my first show, I was talking to James quite a bit, like, you know, about, how many fights should I put on? Will I have time? Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, trust me, Giff, you get a lot of them are dropped.
So you haven't had the show.
21 fights. You're on 20 of James here.
Your next show, you got a show coming in March?
Yeah, March 30th, next instalment for us, some big fights in the pipeline. We're not going to announce any of them yet.
So will that be just Thai, just at K1? Or
it'll be Thai and K1, yeah.
March is a hard time to go.
Maybe we'll touch on MMA at some point, but it's not really my forte, you know.
So it's March 30th in Eberville.
March 30th, Eberville, yeah. Cool. Tickets will be on sale soon. Hoping to have 20 fights, probably 3 to 4 A-class fights, which, you know yourself, A-class Muay Thai fights are not easy to come by, you know.
No,
and I've had some good fighters on it. Main event on my last show was my girl Lindsay. We flew a girl in from Ireland to fight there, which was a great fight. Yeah. You know, it was a 5-round war. It was gone midnight, and they were still fighting in the ring. You know, but the staff was great.
No, it was a really good show. It was really well run.
Yeah, cheers.
Nothing was missed. But
and I think
sometimes something is, you know.
I think if you looked at the results, I had 11 guys on the show, and I think 9 of them won on the night. Yeah. Which you might be sceptical. People who think, Giff might have given his fighters easy fights, but it wasn't the case. If you watch the fights back,
you know what? I've done probably 8 years of shows now, 4 or 5 years doing. I mean, sometimes my guys will all lose. Sometimes they'll all win. But it's not often 50-50. I think once you start winning as a team, the morale's good.
Yeah, of course.
So, and I think as the first fight, as the first show, everyone in your gym was
they trained hard
to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and to bear in mind, they've been travelling their whole careers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what people don't see. It's like, we're doing a show at home now. It's like, great,
well,
this is our show. You're not taking that win away from me.
The main reason we put the show on was to get all my guys on a show. You know, I work as well, so I can't get like every Saturday night off to go to different shows. I can now, but at the time I couldn't. You know, so it was a case I wanted to get all my guys on one show to give them an opportunity to fight.
Yeah, as a team.
As a team, yeah, which worked well to be fair.
And like you say, when the everyone's doing well, the gym, everyone's in the gym, everyone's always pushing for the next win, and when everyone's doing well, and you have people like Lindsay in there pushing hard.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke about Mason being a role model. Lindsay's another role model. I mean, the 11-year-old girls I got in my gym, I tell you now, they're beating the boys up for fun. No disrespect to the boys, but until they hit that age, there's nothing between them. You know, girls are a bit more switched on at that.
Some of mine got to fight them when you're into club, like some of my boys.
Oh, sorry, that was her first timer, you know.
I'm not going to fight the girl for you. Sorry, no, would you?
Don't treat them like a girl. Sorry.
The girls like girls.
Yeah.
Oh, you're good.
Just opponents.
Yeah. How many people on that night said they was going to join your gym?
my inbox. I mean, I know a lot of coaches touch on this, but you see them. What time's your classes next week? What time's your classes?
I can't make it.
You never see them. Very rare you see them.
It's
but when you got a couple of drinks in it, you think, I want to feel this. And when you wake up with an hangover the next day, it doesn't sound.
I mean, even me. I mean, I go to the fights now. I still get the sweaty palms, cornering the guys now, and I think, we miss this so much. Yeah. Wake up in the morning, think, I'm gonna run. No, I ain't. I'll be gonna next.
I get more nervous watching fights than I do when I fight. I don't get nervous when I fight. But when you're watching someone else, you're like. Watching, you think
actually right. When I'm calling the juniors, I'm so nervous.
Oh, there's nothing worse.
Parents looking over your shoulder like,
why did you put him in that fight? I didn't know, did I?
I didn't know.
I didn't know you're a monster.
So anyway, right, we've got next. You're rising the ranks of the lightweight division now. People are already talking about you in title contention. Soren Bak is the Cage Warriors lightweight champion. How long before do you reckon you'll get matched with Soren, or do you reckon?
Well, Soren or Jack Grant. So, Jack Grant's a monster. I'd love to fight him. Soren Bak.
I love that. Jack Grant's a monster. I'd love to fight him.
I mean, that's Mason.
That's fight up. That's someone who's going to get somewhere.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't see anyone in the division who's a threat to me. Do you know what I mean? I've got depth in different sports and different parts that people may be strong in one part, they may be strong in two, and I'm strong around the board. So I'm happy to fight, and I'd love to fight wherever. I do think though that Jack Grant and Soren back is going to be the next fight to match. Like they're both, I mean, they're both ready to go. I know Soren Back's probably not going to fight till March.
When did he fight last?
Paddy, wasn't it?
Before Paddy in Liverpool.
November? No.
I don't know.
I don't know. I know he's having time off till next year, so I think they're doing a show in his, well,
They're doing a show in Scandinavia, aren't they?
well, Copenhagen it is.
Yeah,
so,
Denmark.
So you think like you'll have one fight March, April time, that fight will happen around the same time,
and I'm hoping to get.
and then the winners.
Hopefully, I'm hoping to fight after that. But again, it's wherever the Cage Warriors team want me to do. I'm 23. If they said, look, you could fight this fight now and next year, and then sign immediately with UFC, like that's not a good idea for me.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like
People don't see that. Though.
no, so I fight once more next year. Maybe fight for a title after that. Hopefully defend once. And then sign, that'd be perfect for me. Do you know what I mean? I'm 24 next year. I can push in 25, sign for UFC.
Same with Jack Shaw. He's had many offers already to join the UFC, but I think it's sensible for him to decline. As I said, he's no rush whatsoever.
Build an image.
With you.
Once you're in.
Yeah.
There's no.
If you get in the UFC and you prematurely
lose 3 fights in a bout, yeah.
That's it.
Like, this is the thing I don't understand. And like, obviously, Tyson Fury was on Joe Rogan's podcast the other day, and he was saying about how he has bouts of depression, and he's saying like his target ever since he was a kid to be a world champion. Like, that's not my goal at all. Like, it's a stepping stone, a massive stepping stone in a career to be a world champion. But if you think that's an end goal, then do you mean you're just setting yourself up for a drop? Like, UFC is not an end goal. Like, people say, oh, I just want to be in UFC, and I'm thinking, well, it'd be nice to, but at the end of the day, like, if you go in there and you get knocked out in 3 fights, you've gone, and then what are you going to do? You've got to pick yourself back up, and you've got to rebuild yourself.
Dana says these days, if you're in the UFC and you are not aiming to be at the top, you may as well go to another promotion that'll pay you more for fighting easier fights.
Do you know what I mean? Like
adrenaline.
No, but like Bellator and stuff, they pay more now, and
sponsorships are there as well. Do you know what I mean? Like UFC, it's in because
to be the best. You win at the top.
Caliber of the belt. Do you know what I mean? Like ONE FC, Bellator, they're all massive events, but it's nothing bigger than a UFC belt. Do you know what I mean? And like I'd love to get a shot at that title. But the main thing I want to do is just fight the best fighters and just do you know what I mean, and just burn some absolute scraps and just show how good I am and how good I can be.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Oh, Christ. I don't know. Let's see what goes. Like, I mean, 2 years I can see myself in UFC. A year and a half. 2 years. 2 years would be good.
Top 10 then.
Top 10.
Top 10 at the end of this year. Top 10 this year. Yeah, so was my goal.
UFC top 10.
Obviously not this year, next year. End of next year, I'll be top 10. After that, I start pushing and see where it goes. But, I mean, 25, 26 is a good age to get in UFC. Like, how old is Brett when he went in?
I don't know how old he is now.
I think he's about 25 now, maybe.
He's older than that, man.
I don't know.
But yeah, it's a good age. Like McGregor was 25, 26 when he signed.
29, 30 you're peaking in over the reckon. So
30 you're peaking, and then after you start tipping the scales the other side, you got to be started thinking of an exit plan. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't just think, oh, I'm just going to fight for the rest of my life, because when it comes to my late 30s, I don't want to be still fighting. I mean, there's things I want to do. Like, I've sacrificed so much to do this game, and I love this game, and even if I'm not fighting, I'll still be doing this game.
Yeah,
but
when you see a lot of the big UFC fighters from 10 years ago, and they're all like sort of fighting on a bare knuckle boxing scene and
Chuck and Tito going back.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad. Like, so I see you coming from.
That's the worst one.
This is the thing people don't look into. Like, for anyone who don't know, obviously, most people watch the McGregor and Khabib fight. People are like, well, why the hell is he taking that fight? He's obviously overshooting this. I don't think he even cared about winning. Like, obviously, everyone who fights wants to win. But he only got paid something like 3 or 7 mil for that fight. I think it was 7 mil. Like,
only.
Yeah. But if you look at his previous purse, he got paid 100 million for fighting Floyd Mayweather.
Yes, more than that for not fighting as well.
But the thing is, I don't think they charged him. I think part of his contract was to have his whiskey as a sponsor.
That's
right. His whiskey on the 2 nights, the night before he fought and the night he fought, made over 100 million. His whiskey made over 100
potentially
million.
His whiskey will still be selling in 50 years' time.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
that one fight literally probably set his family up for life. Do you know what I mean? without everything.
Look at the
else
business side coming back.
You've got to think these things through. Like
dancing out.
I want to see.
PDF.
I want to see
PDF the dragon.
Dragon whiskey.
Check more kicks. Start whiskey.
I think that's part of the nickname of the business as well. I mean, we had our own nickname. Well, the Jiu-Jitsu boys mainly had their own nickname for Mason, but
which was
it's not really good for business.
Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin.
Mason Home Alone Jones.
One of my I went to see obviously Pedro Bessa is our lineage. We went to see Pedro, then train with Pedro, and I don't know whether you forgot my name.
Pedro gets names for everyone. He names everyone.
But obviously I'd been in a hard weight cut, turned up looking a bit skinny. And, oh, Macaulay Culkin, mate. I was like, oh, Ped, please don't do this. It's good. But again, you got to think of, you got to plan your life out. And people don't think, like, people think I'm just going to fight and it's brilliant to do, but you got to know that what are you going to do when you're
You don't know the end.
You
Right,
got to know what's happening.
we got 2 minutes left before we go. Jack Marshman fights this weekend in Madison Square Garden.
What a dream.
Predictions?
Well, I don't know.
Jack by knockout.
I'd love to see
Jack win, and especially, do you mean you got a Welsh guy? Even I love Jack to bits, but having a Welsh guy fight in Madison Square Garden, do you mean?
See Buffer announce Abertillery and
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I learned him how to say Abertillery now.
Yeah, Tulare like Mary, not Tillery like Hillary. I've got it.
Any
So I
sponsors?
tell all the MCs.
You got 1 minute sponsors.
Right, I should have written these down. Big shout out to PMP Builders, CCS Scaffolding, Patent Seekers, long-term supporters. Do you mean they've helped out since I was a kid? Tatami Fightwear, I mean they help out loads of the Welsh guys. Condo Tan sponsored my last fight. Big thanks to them. I've got a couple of sponsors in the lines now. Hopefully, I'll be able to announce a few more in the next few weeks.
Just keep an eye on his Facebook page or Instagram, whatever.
Instagram, that's the one. Give me a follow on Instagram.
And
More
again,
followers.
he's looking for sponsors. If you want to sponsor someone who's really making waves in the UK MMA scene now, this is one of the guys you need to get in touch with. Thanks for coming on the show, guys. Mason.
Cheers, guys. Also look up Celtic Pride Gym and War Promotions.
Stand Up War.
Stand Up War 2 Promotions.
Celtic Pride never die.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.